British Spy Stories. Hi, this is MF Kelleher. Next week's episode of British Spy Stories is the finale of Season 3, Official Denial. The week after that, on Monday the 14th of October, we start a 12-week special season. Introducing British Spy Stories long form. We've re-recorded and remastered the complete first Gabby Lane story, Spy or Traitor, into 12 extra-long episodes. The special long-form season runs all the way through the holiday period, with a finale on Monday the 30th of December, 2024. Then, on the 6th of Jan 2025, we begin Season 4, Double Agent, on British Spy Stories. Thanks for listening. I'll see you soon. Season 3, Official Denial. Episode 26. After passing through the town of Pitesti on the main road, the spies drive through the country lanes and finally turn off along a dirt track. Up ahead, an unglamorous grey warehouse is outlined on the horizon. The sun tried but failed to break through a low cloud base on their journey from Budapest. Laravel jumps out and swings the doors open, and Gabby drives the Land Rover inside. They all check the equipment they need for the second attempt to kill Voroboyov. Gabby insists they go through the plans again, to confirm every detail of the routes on the maps. When she is satisfied that everyone knows their part, they break for food and Gabby goes out to have a rare cigarette. She stands with her back to the warehouse, watching the landscape in front of her that rolls out southeast until it reaches the Black Sea. Hans emerges after a few minutes and stands next to her. They don't speak, but he joins her in looking out across the fields of southern Romania. Eventually, he says, "We're going to be okay this time." "Are you reassuring yourself?" He smiles, without turning to look at her. "Maybe. As long as your drones work and Jenny doesn't get shot again, we'll be laughing." "She won't. You're hard on her," says Hans. "You can't have a weak link in an operation. Once we're rolling, there's no turning back. No stopping for a breather. I know you, me and Kate have all done it dozens of times before. Jenny will surprise you." At that moment, Laravel opens the access door and tells them the food is ready. An alarm on Kate's watch sounds at exactly 1 a.m. She is awake immediately. There is little to see apart from blackness inside the warehouse. Within 5 minutes, all of them are awake, and Hans makes coffee. And half an hour later, the Land Rover rolls out into the moonlight. Kate jumps out, secures the doors. Then they head out, towards Bucharest. They skirt the city and head west, on the highway that leads to the King Mihai I Park. Hans drives off the main road, and along a string of tracks that lie between the road and the Hiristrau Lake. He stops the Land Rover at the edge of a section of waste ground on the bankside, before they unhook the trailer. The women arm themselves, and Hans unpacks the 25 drones and lays them out on the ground. Lastly, they all don comms headsets, and they are ready. "Everyone okay?" says Gabby, and looks at each of them in turn, and they nod back to her. "Then we go." Hans flicks the levers on the controller, and the swarm rises with a machine-like hum above their heads. The women start to run into the trees that border the grounds of the hotel. The drones move up to 60 meters altitude, and Hans switches them to hold in formation on autopilot. Then he follows the others through the trees. At the other side of the woodland, they regroup. Gabby silently raises 2 fingers and indicates to move forward. Kate and Laravel run at speed across the lawn in front of the hotel and split into 2 positions. Kate near the hotel, ready for the next stage. The drones advance slowly up the center of the water, and Hans watches the screen on the controller. Gabby stands beside him, and he turns his head to her, with his eyebrows raised. She makes the smallest of nods to give him his attack command. The drones dip in the sky and turn towards the hotel. Hans brings them up close to the front wall of the building and hits the siren button. All 25 machines blurt out a deafening tone. Gabby watches for reaction within the hotel. Hans swoops the drones again and releases a second blast of siren. 2 men in black appear from the far side of the hotel and run to the lawn. They try to see where the sirens are coming from. Hans brings the swarm up in the sky and out of their firing range. But the men see the drones and draw out handguns. They let off rounds up in the air as lights come on inside the hotel. Gabby is watching for one particular set of rooms, where Redwick is sleeping. 2 more guards emerge on one of the balconies that sit at the front of the hotel. They too fire, but fail to hit the flying targets. Hans brings the drones in for a swoop attack again, straight towards the hotel. All 4 soldiers are firing now, up at the machines. They hit 2 drones. The units explode in the night and crash to earth on the lawn, causing brown scorch marks across the green grass. Hans lifts the drones up again, then back in for a 4th time. This time 3 of the drones are hit and light up the night sky. "Go, Kate," says Gabby, into comms, and the assassin moves across from her hiding place and up to the external door that leads into the bar of the hotel. She fires at the glass, which explodes into pieces in front of her. She unlocks the door and steps through into the hotel. Their preparation in the last couple of days allows Kate to head straight for the back stairs and up to the 1st floor. She can hear shouts of confusion coming from the corridor, and she waits in the stair lobby until the sound of running feet has gone. She pulls the door and moves out into the carpeted corridor. Kate moves swiftly to the suite next to Redwick's and swipes a door card through the lock that Hans had programmed after hacking the hotel's security system. The suite is empty and dark. Kate lifts her arm and pulls her handgun from her backpack. She screws on the silencer and puts 1 bullet in the breech, then moves to the balcony window. Through the curtains, she can see soldiers on the grass, still firing into the night sky. She slides the balcony door open and steps outside. At the end of her balcony, there is a gap of 10 feet to reach Redwick's room. Kate stands on the railing, sways, regains her balance, then pushes off into the air. She clatters onto the far railing. Her fingers slide out of the first grasp she makes, and she has to grab with her other hand to keep her grip. She hoists herself up and over onto his balcony. She holds her handgun against her shoulder and walks along outside Redwick's sliding window until she reaches the handle. Kate listens for movement inside, but can't hear anything. She drops down on her haunches and pulls out 2 lockpicks. She turns her wrists around and the lock disengages. Kate stays low and slowly slides the door open. There is no noise in the suite. She moves silently towards the bedroom door. It is slightly ajar. She peers inside, but the blackness prevents her from discerning anything clearly. She pushes the door gently and walks in. There is no noise of Redwick sleeping, which is a concern. The place is pitch black, and there's still no movement. Out of the dark, the shadow of a large man suddenly appears. He grabs her gun hand and pulls it away. Kate is caught off guard, and her arm crashes against a mirror on the wall, which shatters. She brings her other arm up and round, and gets a hold of the man's face, her fingers in his eyes. She pulls sideways with all her strength, and he groans with pain, but the attack makes him release her hand. Kate brings her weapon down on the side of his head. He staggers but doesn't fall. He barges against her with his full weight, and she is sent flying backwards against the wall. He grabs for her gun again, but she is too quick and pulls it away, then punches him in the stomach, which only stops his advance for a second. Kate has time to bring her gun round and fires a round at him. She hits him in the shoulder, but it doesn't stop him swinging and punching her in the face. She falls awkwardly, but he decides to go. He turns and runs off through the bedroom door, then out into the corridor. Kate stands up. Her lip is cut and bleeding. She wipes the blood away and follows the man. The corridor is empty apart from the retreating man. Lights have come on now, and she can see that the man she just fought is indeed Redwick. She gives chase as he slams through the stairwell door and disappears. "Target exiting the hotel," yells Kate into comms. Outside, Hans has 10 drones that are still functional, but they are still doing their job and keeping the guards distracted. "Laravel, with me," says Gabby into headsets, and the two women rush across the lawn to the place they expect to see Redwick emerge. They stand either side of the doorway and wait. They can hear no more update from Kate in comms, and the seconds tick by. Gabby and Laravel look at each other, their weapons drawn and ready. There is a moment of quiet as Hans has drawn the guards out towards the water, and no sounds come from inside the building. After another 10 seconds, Gabby leads them inside. They run through the bar and into the reception area on the far side of the building. The front door is open, but there's no sign of Kate. "Stay back away from the door," says Gabby to Laravel. And then she talks into comms. "Kate." But no response. They wait again. Laravel moves to look out of the front door, and the thud of a single shot hitting her flak jacket echoes around the room. She falls backwards with the impact and hits her head on the floor. "I said fucking stay there," screams Gabby. She walks over to the other woman. Laravel is unconscious. Gabby checks for breathing, then slaps her face to try to get her to wake up, but with no luck. "Hans," she says into comms. "Yes, Mom." "Laravel is unconscious. She's in the reception area. Can you get in here and recover her back to transport?" "Yes, Mum. I'll put the drones on auto. It should keep the distraction for a few more minutes, but no longer than that. They're getting better at hitting them." "Mom," Kate's voice comes over the headsets. "Sit rep, Kate," says Gabby. "Target is running northwards along the lake. I am in pursuit. There was no kill in the room, but an injury to his shoulder." "I'll come with you," says Gabby, and she runs out into the night. Hans arrives in the reception area and kneels on the floor next to Laravel. "Jenny! Jenny!" She doesn't react, and Hans picks her up, then carries her through the hotel and out of a side door near the trees. He sits her up against the wall and she slowly opens her eyes.
Balls,
she says.
What?
Gabby told me to stay put, and I had to fucking look out the front door. I felt the shot before I blacked out.
Don't worry, says Hans. There are more important things.
Gabby said I was inexperienced. Fuck.
Jenny. He looks straight at her. Move on. It's not important. We all have shit thrown at us. It's all about how you recover that matters. Now bloody forget it and get your arse into gear.
She takes a deep breath out and looks up at Hans, with eyes full of sadness and anger.
Okay, she says. Come on, we'll get back to transport and go to Kate and Gabby. They're on his tail.
Laravel nods to him. He helps her stand, and they run back to the Land Rover. 50 yards ahead of her, Kate can see Redwick drop off the road and try the door to an empty office block that sits near the boulevard. He fires at the handle of the door until it opens, then he goes inside. She tells Gabby what has happened and then waits until she's caught up with her.
We can corner him in there, says Kate.
Gordon's voice comes through comms.
We're on the way to you, Mom.
Is Laravel operational?
She's fine, Mom.
We wait, says Gabby. A few minutes later, Hans and Laravel arrive in the SUV and park it out of sight. The 4 spies move off towards the office block and enter the building with guns drawn. Rows of dull red security lights are arrayed across the ceiling to give just enough illumination to see the outline of the interior. They spread out and run down 4 of the walkways, past empty desks and abandoned filing cabinets. Gabby indicates a staircase that leads to a set of offices at a higher level, and the others move across to her. Kate takes the lead up the stairs, with Gabby next. The others stay on the ground floor. Kate goes through each of the 3 offices methodically. As she pushes the door to the final one, Redwick rises from his hiding place and brings a metal pole down across her back. She falls to the ground, and he makes his escape. Redwick pushes along the walkway as Gabby emerges behind him from the second office door. He has his gun drawn and fires back at her, hitting her on the arm. He clatters down the stairs and turns when he reaches the bottom. Gabby is halfway down behind him now, holding her bleeding arm. He raises his pistol again. There's a moment of stillness that seems to last for longer than the half-second it does. Then a shot rings out and his hand suddenly jerks upwards and he drops the gun, crying out in pain. Redwick runs on, hitting a fire exit door with force and running outside. Gabby walks down the stairs and sits on the bottom step.
Hans, you got medic kit,
she says. He pulls out a zip bag from his waistband, finds a bandage and rolls it around her arm. Gabby takes a deep breath out as Kate walks down to the group at the bottom of the stairs.
Thank you, Gordon, for hitting Redwick's handgun, says Gabby. You may have just saved my life.
Not my shot, Gab, he says. It was Jenny.
Gabby turns to Laravel. They smile at each other.
Then, thank you, Jenny. I owe you one.
Mum,
says Laravel quietly.
We go on. The way he's gone, he's heading for a dead end. There's only the railway up there.
She stands.
The guards will be coming after us, says Hans. They will have shot down all the swarm by now.
They all run out through the fire door. Hans goes back to collect their vehicle, and the 3 women cross the highway and follow the route along to the next road and the railway tracks. Kate grabs Gabby's arm.
There,
she says, and nods into the distance. They all look and see the outline of Redwick as he reaches the bridge over the railway.